welcome in Mr. Jean Ward.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Very good. Thanks, guys. And you?
Great, excellent. Did you like that intro song?
Very, very cool. I like the music.
Yeah, Sammy Hagar is currently not giving us a copyright strike for that, but once we start making money, maybe he will.
Okay, you can always come to an arrangement with him. I'm quite sure.
For sure. We only bust that one out on special episodes, and this one was obviously perfect for that.
I'm delighted to be here. Thanks for the invitation, guys.
You're welcome. You have a really cool YouTube channel, and we came across you. I came across you on X because of our good friend of the show, Brian Corey Dobbs, the creator and maker of the movie Blue Planet Red. We met him in person at Cosmic Summit, and he was crediting you on a lot of his posts. And I was like, "Who's this?" I was calling you Gene Ward in my head for like a month. But
Don't worry about it.
it's Jean Ward, and
Yes.
we're really excited to have you on the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and then how you got into studying Mars the way you do?
Sure thing. Yeah. I'm located in the capital city of South Africa. It's called Pretoria.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up here. I've been here all my life. And I suppose I'll die here too one day. I'm not going anywhere. So I started out as a young apprentice just after matriculating. That's what we call it here, just after college. I think you call it there in the States, high school. I was an apprentice at a huge telecommunications company. I'm not going to give the name just to be safe. There I studied electronics, telecommunications, and I majored in electronics and mathematics. So I was working at the labs doing conformity testing on new telecommunications equipment to ensure that these devices comply to South African standards before we connect them to the network. I also got involved with a whole lot of research projects there as well. One of which was the internet, which was introduced there in 1996, I think it was. We had a very, very narrow bandwidth connection to the States. And I looked at the web and I said, okay, look at all these websites. We need a website for the lab. So I taught myself to code in HTML, taught myself graphic design, and I put together this website. And then it just took off. A year later, I was headhunted. I joined the subsidiary of this huge company, the ISP, the Internet Service Provider side of the business, as a webmaster, a graphic designer, and web developer. So I got a whole team together, and we were doing it for like 2 or 3 years. 4 years. We were the first ISP in Africa to turn a profit. But that's sad because a year later we were reabsorbed back into this huge telecommunications company. Then I studied and registered as a project manager, which I was at IT PM for 16 years. I studied a program in e-commerce through the University of South Africa. And then I did a course in user experience design at the University of Cape Town. So I've been quite involved in networking and the IT business for all my life. The graphic design and web development side of it, as I said, I taught myself. But luckily, now I've been employed as a sort of like a webmaster again. Mm-hmm. Doing graphic design and web development, which I've been doing for 5 years now. And then about 7 or 8 years ago, I got started in this work and research. I was looking for a cool wallpaper of a spaceship that I could put on my desktop. And I was going through images, and I came across this illustration of, it's like a cigar-shaped object with domes on it. And a guy called Gary McKinnon claimed he hacked into the NASA computers and into some of the Department of Defense computers. And he came across this folder with secrets in it. And he was busy downloading this photograph that shows this strange craft in Earth orbit. But just before he successfully downloaded the whole image, he got busted. So they cut off his access and he couldn't download the whole photograph. So I thought to myself, well, wait a bit. He's talking about a secret space program. I know nothing about it. So I started researching it. And then on YouTube, I started getting videos, the recommended video section, showing Mars anomalies. And I didn't even know there were Mars anomalies. So I started researching that. And there was this one guy, I'll shout him out. His name is Will Farrar from What's Up in the Sky 37. He doesn't do this anymore. He stopped doing this about 3 years ago. But he got me into this. I was looking at his findings and how he was presenting them on his YouTube channel, pardon me, and the huge following that he had. So I thought to myself, let me start downloading these publicly available NASA photographs and see what I can find. And I came across a plethora of out-of-place anomalies. So I thought, no, I need to start sharing this with people. And then about 8 years ago, I started up this YouTube channel, and it's just grown. I've gone through thousands, hundreds of thousands of NASA photographs already over the past 8 years. Mm-hmm. And I'd say only in about 1% of all those photographs I find something. The rest of them are just boulders, rock, sand, or they've been sanitized. You can't see anything in them because they're too bright. It's like they've washed the photograph, sanitized them, or it's just like a black strip. So it's very difficult to find these things, but when you find them, it's very rewarding. So as a result of that, you guys saw my work, and I'm here now.
Very cool. And I did want to shout out your fans because we got a bunch of them in the chat. Gordon Shumway. Yeah.
Renee's there.
Yeah, Renee, somebody else. Let me try to find him.
Moving in
stereo. Yeah, from California. So we got California in the house. We got Holland in the house. And we got Melmac, the home planet of Alf, in the house as well. So thank you so much. If you've just subscribed to our channel and you're here because of Jean, we really appreciate you jumping on the show. So I have a question. Had you heard of the face on Mars, the infamous face on Mars, before you got into all this? Okay.
That was the first anomaly that I saw for myself, and I couldn't believe it. I was blown away by it. It was this low resolution, grainy photograph of this face. And I was totally blown away by it. And when I started researching, I noticed, but wait a bit, there's high resolution photographs. These are photographs taken by the rovers, by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, snapping photographs at 25 centimeters per pixel. So, you can make out a tennis racket or a Coke bottle or something this size. You can resolve in those photographs on the surface. So, I went to go and check out the face in these high-res photographs. But, there's a bit of a controversy involved with that. They manipulated the high-resolution photographs and called it a strange mound. And in subsequent photographs, on my X about a month ago, I published a new photograph that NASA put together of this face, put together from different angles, and they built up this 3D model, and it does look like that. So it is a face. So they basically have come forward to say, well, listen, guys, it is actually a face, but they won't say it. But the 3D model that they've built from all these photographs shows clearly that it's a face, and the side of it is highly eroded. So, that's the first anomaly that got me I think Mariner took this photograph.
Yeah, that
Or
one's the first one I
Viking.
heard of as well.
I think Viking.
Brittany, can you look that up? Which satellite took a picture of the face on Mars? Yeah, I first came across the face on Mars through like a movie that I took my girlfriend to when I was 16 called Mission to Mars, starring let's see, Gary Sinise, Tim Robbins, Don Cheadle. Great movie. I don't know if you've seen that.
I have.
Yeah, it's one of
A
my
few
faves.
times.
Yeah, same. If you guys are in the chat and you've seen that movie, let us know if you enjoyed it. But it's still worth a watch now. At the time when I saw that, I didn't even know there was an infamous actual picture of the face on Mars because it was the 90s. I didn't have the internet. I didn't even know that was a thing. Gordon Shumway wants to ask you directly: do you feel the face on Mars is a real face on Mars?
I think so, yes. And it's not the only one. I also discovered a face on Mars, close to that huge pyramid that we'll look at later on in the presentation. But obviously, it's not in the slide pack, in the stack. But it looks very similar to that. I call it the face of Chewbacca. It's about 2.5 kilometers in length. You can see the eyes and the nose, and it's got like a furry sort of, you know what Chewbacca looks like, that furry face. Yeah. But there are geometric and symmetrical structures on Mars, and you'll see that coming up.
Very cool. We're excited. Just shouting out one of our biggest fans, longtime fans, Scarlett. Thanks for joining the show. No, this is not a recording tonight. We are live. For a few weeks while we were on break, I was playing old episodes, but I was streaming them live. And Charlotte, for a few minutes, thought we were live. So I had to tell her, no, we're not live right now. But we love you, Charlotte. Thank you for joining the show. So you started the channel. It started growing. You've got, a good 9,000 subscribers at this point. And you've got over 800 videos on your channel. That's wild.
Yeah, I know. A lot of my subscribers say that they can't keep up with my videos. I'm too quick and I need to relax. I'm going to burn out. But like I say, it's so rewarding when you find something on this planet that they claim is dead, desolate. There's nothing on it. And then you come across these things. And what's fascinating too is that they always claim Mars has got this red, toxic atmosphere. But it's very funny. In a couple of NASA rover panoramic photographs, they actually show a blue sky.
Yes.
And if you look at the equivalent photographs that they put that panorama together with on the site, it's red. That atmosphere is red. And I also noticed that when Insight landed there during the lockdown, there was this guy, I can't remember his name now, one of the chief NASA scientists. He was giving commentary, running commentary. And when this thing landed, the first photograph it took, it showed a blue sky. And he said, and there's the bluish sky. He didn't quite know how to say it. And then a second or two later, the screens in this control room all had a red filter on the live feed.
Yeah.
And you could see there was a guy on his cell phone, high rate, talking to someone, and then suddenly it became red. So why they hide the fact that it's got a blue atmosphere? Because there's water there and oxygen. Maybe, I don't know. And the temperature on the equator is livable. It's in the 25 degrees Celsius range, so it's not that cold. But up in the northern and southern latitudes, it gets cold. There we find permafrost and the ice caps, obviously. So it's very intriguing, yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see how the red filter photo manipulation or video manipulation pans out in light of discovering more and more water. It seems like every year they're discovering water underground, like evidence, traces of water. Just because it's not a full blown atmosphere like the Earth has with a greenhouse layer, there's still evidence of water and water underneath the ground on Mars.
As far as I know, the European Space Agency detected underground water near the South Pole, about a kilometer deep. They detected this large volume of water. They reckon it's salt water.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it hasn't frozen over. But we need that type of tomographic satellite around Mars that is now photographing the Giza pyramids and finding all those weird tubes and structures underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
We need to see if we can't get a satellite like that to replace the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, because they need to scan those pyramids, especially the one we'll look at just now. I think there's something there.
That's an interesting point about the Giza SAR scans coming from the Italian research team. That stuff is currently undergoing peer review, if I'm not mistaken. Dave and I had a blast seeing those guys. We're very much happy to follow that work.
Yeah, we get to meet those guys in person, and I hadn't thought about that before. That is an interesting idea. Elon, where are you at? Get on that, Elon.
Mars with it.
Yeah. Call me.
The nice thing about the SAR, you don't even have to land on Mars and set up a camp. If you get the satellites, go get satellite data and get it back somehow. So.
Yeah. I wanted to ask John before we start getting into your photos and stuff here in a few. We love the show The Y-Files on YouTube. He does a lot of episodes on Mars. You ever watch that show?
The Y-Files?
Yes.
No.
I'm
what is
sending
the
you my
person's name? Maybe I know the name.
AJ, I can't remember his last name. We'll send you. It's a great show. It's edutainment. It's entertaining, but it's also a little educating too.
Yeah, what he does is like that's what it's called. His name is AJ. It's the best show on YouTube, I guess, according to Mike and I. I don't know if anybody else watches the Y-Files in the channel. AJ Gentile, yeah. But we'll send you an episode. I'll send you my favorite Mars episode. He does a lot of Mars episodes. What he does is he tells sort of the somewhat loosely based conspiracy narratives around certain stories about Mars, and then at the end he'll debunk what he can debunk, and then he'll leave what can't be debunked, to you to think about. He does it in a really entertaining way, and I really think that you'll enjoy it. So we'll definitely send you an episode of that.
Yeah. Drop it in X direct message or email me that episode. I'd love to check it out. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I've written it down here as well.
He does a bunch of episodes on that. And honestly, every episode he does is great. So you'll enjoy it. Brittany's dropping it in the chat to the Y-Files at the Y-Files. Yes, sir. And so
why? Okay.
Yeah, there it is. So, do you have a favorite Mars movie or anything like that?
I do.
Which one is that?
The Martian.
Okay.
The Martian. Yeah.
With Matt Damon.
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
It's hell of a funny. And it's good. Yeah.
What was it that you liked about that one? Why is that one your favorite?
The humor, and did you see how easy it was for him to grow something in that soil? He just needed to add a bit of nutrients. Nutrients. They reckon that the soil on Mars will be fertile if it gets water and it's at the right temperature and it's got a little bit of nutrients added to it. You can grow crops and trees and plants on Mars. Mm-hmm. That ground is actually feasible.
Yeah, I wanted to say hi to Rubate, big follower of the show. Thank you so much for dropping in. From what I've heard, that movie is very, from an engineering perspective, as well as from a terraforming perspective, for lack of a better word, is pretty based in and grounded in real science, right?
It is. And that's another thing I've noticed over the years, that I won't say specifically disclosure is coming through movies and series and documentaries, but they are desensitizing us, or what do you call it? Desensitizing
Yes.
us
Soft
to,
disclosure.
when they eventually come forward and disclose, that we won't go and riot and question our faith and go crazy. I think that Hollywood for sure uses movies and series to get us up to that level where we can accept something like that. Because I don't know if you guys know about the Brookings report that was done in the late 50s. Their findings were that humanity is not ready for disclosure. We're not ready to know that we aren't alone in the universe, and that there are anomalous objects on the moon and other planets that they've found. NASA actually commissioned the Brookings Institute to do that study. So I think that the space agencies are in a way still bound by that conclusion, or they're leaving it up to us to do the disclosure part so that there's plausible deniability on their side. That's what I reckon. Or it could be peer pressure on the scientists from their peers, that they could be looked down upon, frowned upon, and that their papers will be laughed at. They wouldn't pass any peer review process. So there's also scientists at universities that might lose their grants based on peer pressure. So it's interesting.
John, I think it's probably, I agree with you, and I think it's probably a combination of all those things, right? Peer pressure on the scientists, it's a slow drip or soft disclosure through movies and things like that. It's also, there's probably a little hint of what are they called? Weapons and technology manufacturing companies who are in deep into the government and in with the scientific organizations and fund a lot of this stuff, that they don't want the technology out. I wanted to shout out Shaman 711. He says the moon is an anomalous object. I mean, it is. The more you learn about the moon, the more you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. It's like somebody just, like God or somebody just made it perfect for our planet so we could have life on here,
Yeah, apparently with one of the Apollo missions, they crashed that lander back into the moon after it docked with the command module. And the seismometers picked up that it rang like a bell.
Yeah.
So it's like hollow.
Yeah, there's a Y-Files episode about
that. Very interesting,
Yeah. And so I wanted to ask as well, what do you think about just modern UFO, UAP disclosure stuff going on? They're starting with New York Times article in 2017 and all that stuff, all these whistleblowers coming out. What's your thoughts on all that?
Lou Elizondo, the whole gang.
Okay. My take on it is that they want to take control of the narrative. Because remember, for years, it was always the UFO phenomenon, and there's like 70 years worth of history, research, and data there. So for them to take over the narrative and push their alien threat narrative, they need to take control of that UFO file. And I think that's why they've rebranded it to UAPs. Effectively getting rid of that decades worth of research. And I think it's really unfortunate, because the new stuff is very compelling and credible. Talking about disclosure, Ellen Stofan, one of the chief NASA scientists on Ancient Aliens a couple of years ago, said that within the next couple of years, we will have definitive proof of life on Mars. What does that mean? They've already discovered it. Why would she say that? It's the chief scientist. Why would she say there will be definitive proof that there's life on Mars? That's very strange.
Mm-hmm.
I find it very intriguing. I think that too, in a way, was some type of disclosure.
But do you think that's going to be definitive evidence of past life or definitive evidence of present active life? Because either of those would be a step beyond what's been admitted in the past.
I think she's talking about current active life. It will be up to Elon Musk and guys like that to show us the anomalies, the rains, the technology, the artifacts. I don't think NASA will concentrate on that. I think they might do it in secret because NASA was a military organization as far as I know. I don't know if it still is.
I don't know.
But I think Elon and guys like that will be more inclined to divulge information about that side of things. Whereas NASA will look more on the geological and biological aspects of Mars.
Yeah.
Shaman, from experience that
right.
I think.
Shaman 711 says he's had experience with aerial phenomenon both day and nighttime. And he says, when I take my experiences and I look at what these people are saying and supposedly showing, I agree that it looks like an attempt at narrative control. I'm in this phase of my life, you guys, where I think everything is a narrative control. I think if something, all of a sudden, something's all over social media and everyone's talking about it and arguing about it one direction or the other, and I won't get into what's going on right now, I'm positive it's some form of narrative control from one way or the other. And why wouldn't they try to take control of this narrative? Because supposedly, some of the there's technology that's both been recovered from like fairly modern crash sites and archaeological sites. They've had archaeological sites that they've uncovered that are alien technology. And narrative control seems obvious because they want us to behave a certain way in relation to what they know. And so I just always want to point that out. Keep your eyes open for if you're trying to control your mind or not, because they are.
Yeah, and remember Lou Elizondo was always pushing this alien threat.
Yes.
So Dr. Stephen Greer, I don't know if you guys know him.
Oh, yeah.
He actually says we must be careful of that because they might be planning a fake alien invasion because they've got the technology to do it.
Yeah, it's a false.
So they want to control us again, I think, through it. If there's this fake alien invasion with this new technology and the promise of, med beds and all this fantastic stuff, and then we'll salute them as gods and saviors. I think it's all got to do with dehumanizing us and removing us from our faith and our principles and our morals and standards so that we can follow this new world order that they want to bring in. But I don't want to go into conspiracies regarding that. We'll talk for the whole night.
It's true. Yeah, we could and we would. And I feel like to close that, I guess, out a little bit. Shaman says maybe there are threats out there, but my experience tells me that what I've encountered is definitely playing for the good team. And I think that humans are just a very small part of a very grand game that's being played, and we need to keep our options open. Like guys like Lou Elizondo and all these guys. I was in the military. Okay, this is not disrespect to the military in any way, but when you got these guys who have spent a lifetime being trained in counterintelligence and subvergence and stuff like that, it's like I don't buy it. It's not that I'm saying that the videos that they're showing are fake. I'm just saying I don't buy the narrative. What do you think, Mike?
I agree with your sentiment of being suspicious, cautiously suspicious. And I don't want to disrespect Lou Elizondo at all, but if you want to see an AI generated video of Lou Elizondo sporting a mullet and wearing a shiny silver suit, stay tuned until the end of this broadcast. We've got a surprise to show you at the very, very end. So stay tuned.
Yes, sir.
There's one last thing I'd like to mention regarding this secret space program. The article that I'm looking at here is in NBC News.
This is as mainstream as it gets.
I know. And this was covered in all the mainstream news outlets, CNN, ABC, you name it. They all carried this story. But only for a day or two. Then then it just sort of disappeared. And if you look here, the guy's name is Haim Ashed, former Israeli space security chief. And he says here that cooperation agreements had been signed between species, including an underground base in the depths of Mars, where there are American astronauts and alien representatives. And then they say that Donald Trump had refused or decided not to divulge this information because of mass hysteria. And then they say, where does it say? They want us to know about, they've been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are.
What?
Referring to the Galactic Federation. And if you study the secret space program, you'll know there's a Galactic Federation, Solar Warden. There's a lot of factions in this federation. But anyway, that's just the other cherry on the top. So
I don't like how that NBC article and what they said there was like basically treating us like children, as if we don't understand what space and spaceships are. That's a little bit like, come on. If you don't understand what that is by now, like I don't know. You know what I mean?
Maybe we don't.
Maybe we don't. Yeah.
We're still using solid engine rockets to get into outer space. We should be using 0-point teleport tech.
Yeah, so is there truth to that statement that Trump knows about it?
Yeah.
Because he's dead quiet on the subject. He's mum. I don't know. So it's up to us to decide, use our discernment.
Yeah,
that's for ourselves.
We're in that day and age where we have to decide for ourselves. We have to use our own discernment. In the 90s and the 80s, when I was growing up, generally people trusted institutions. They trusted the news. They trusted the government. They trusted what they were told. Nowadays, it's kind of hard to trust things. You have to use your own, discernment, which I think is empowering in a way. Wouldn't you say, guys? Sent us a bunch of pictures we're going to go through that he's going to talk us through, the anomalies he's found on Mars. Before we do, would you tell us kind of a little bit about the process? Like what is this process for when you're looking for anomalous phenomena on Mars?
Okay. This photograph in particular comes from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter context camera. So the photographs it takes are not that high in resolution. I'd say they're 8 meters per pixel in general. So what you see there, you can see in the photograph itself. You don't have to enlarge it or anything. That is what it would look like if you open that photograph on the NASA site. So what you see there is what you get. There's no blurriness or fuzziness. You don't have to upscale that image. That is as clear as it is on their site. So there you can clearly see it's got 4 sides to it. It was covered possibly in water for a long time. It's full of sediment, sand, and dust. And around the base, especially to the top right, you'll see there's erosion. So this thing was standing, in my opinion, in a swamp. Much like in Egypt, where the Nile River was very close to the pyramids. I think there was water here for a very long time. And then this thing was standing in a swamp. And it reminds me of the Moon Pyramid in Teotihuacan. It's got this ramp on the bottom left. And if you covered that in sand, it would also heap up like that. So it doesn't look like a typical staircase because it's covered in sand and silt. And then the top's flat. And each side is about 2.5 kilometers in length. So imagine if you could scan this thing to see what's underneath it, to get a tomography map of this.
Significantly larger than pyramids we find on Earth.
A lot larger, yeah.
Brian Corey Dobbs showed me this at Cosmic Summit, and he told me about you. That's where I first heard about you. He told me about you, and I was looking at this thing like, I need to look at this more. I wanted to point out, because I'm very interested in archaeoastronomy, I'm going to put that back up, that chat comment from Shaman, because he's joking but not at the same time. But he says, now we just need a computer program that can check the star positions relative to that spot of the surface of Mars. And we can see if these dudes are into archaeoastronomy like ancient humans. Maybe find out why they left. Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out alignments of this thing. I don't know if you're aware of even how that would work.
Okay, this photograph is tilted this way. So the orbit is in a polar orbit. So the photographs will be slightly tilted. So if you tilt it back up, that is pointing north, as far as I'm concerned. And the staircase is pointing south.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. We need to start an archaeoastronomy on Mars program.
Interplanetary archaeoastronomy or galactic archaeoastronomy. Great idea. And that's a good point. That should be like known information. We should be able to recreate what would have been a night sky on Mars. I'm sure that's somehow known.
Yeah, and shout out to Am and Nemo. I don't think he's the first time we've seen them in the chat, so thank you so much for joining the show. Says a lot of ruins in Peru of old civilization, for example, Caral look a lot like Mars. If you want to send something like that in the chat for us, that'd be great. So you're saying nothing has been done to this photograph. It has not been like enhanced
to anything. No, this is exactly how NASA published this. They haven't manipulated it. Maybe if they're lying about taking photographs of Mars and they're using CGI, that's a different question. But whether they're doing that or not, they've got to explain either way what these things are.
Right.
So I believe that the orbiter is orbiting Mars and these things are on Mars. And if you look at the surrounding hills and mounds,
yes,
you can see they're typically these little. So this is definitely out of place. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's a weird one. In fact, it looks like the 4 sides look like they could almost be concaved into 8 sides, like the Great Pyramid, that most people don't realize. But that could be a feature. You'd never know. You'd have to uncover all that sand, but that's possible, the way that thing looks. And that
you can also see that debris field to the top right of the pyramid. There's a lot of boulders and rocks and things there.
Wild, yeah.
They might have been the cover of this thing that eroded away, and these things rolled out to that side when water washed through this area. That might be part of the pyramids. What do they call those stones that cover it?
Casing stones. If it had some kind of outer shell of stone, and then there was the first layer to wash away and get deposited nearby, perhaps.
Yeah, because in this terrain, there aren't many boulders except for close to this pyramid. So, yeah, it's the first time I've actually noticed that. It's good. Every time I look at these things, I see something new.
Yeah, that debris field is weird. I agree with Shaman. So when you're going through, how many hours do you spend like kind of poring over this stuff before you find some like a needle in a haystack? It must be, right?
Yeah, apart from my daytime job, I do this after hours for at least 4 hours every evening.
Wow.
It's like a second job. I do Mars research every day. I do my day job, eat, and then I do this before I go to bed.
Amazing.
So, yeah, every day for 4 hours or 5 hours.
And then like how, like, I mean, it's probably random, but how often do you like
find something?
Yeah.
About 1 to 5% of the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd spend days on end going through dozens and dozens of photographs, not finding anything. So about 5% of the time, I find something.
Like this, and that's like a huge dopamine hit where you're like, boom, Butler, check that
exactly.
out.
And that's why I continue. I mean, yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what's next. What I got next.
Note, this thing is also in Cerberus Palace, not far from that huge pyramid. Yeah, you're looking at the high-rise photograph taken at 25 centimeters per pixel, the larger background image.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you would see it if you opened it in high view, which is that JP2 photograph viewer that you can download from NASA's site. I link it in my videos on my YouTube channel and on X. So you can download the viewer to open these photographs and then the JP2 photographs and then look for these things. So here's a crop from that JP2 at actual size. Then on the right, top right, is where I've upscaled it.
Yeah.
So that you can make out more detail. So it's not as fuzzy.
Yeah.
The image upscaler I use is called Topaz Labs Gigapixel. And what I like about this upscaler is that it's got dozens of sliders and parameters you can choose and adjust to make sure that when you're upscaling, you get these AI upscalers that when they upscale, for example, a human hand, there's an extra finger and weird things get introduced into them. When I upscale using Gigapixel, what it does is it preserves the edges of the object that you magnify. And it interprets, to an extent, the texture that it overlays on it. But the shape, the geometry, the highlights, the lowlight shadows are identical to the original source. Like if you magnify that smaller one with an optical magnifier or a magnifier in your OS, it will be blurry. But if you put it side by side to that one I've upscaled using Gigapixel, you'll note the details are identical. So that there is a reasonably accurate representation of what that is. And the walls are about 30 by 30 meters in size, the outer walls. Then it's got that circular structure on the inside. And it looks very similar to the Chanquilla structure that we find in Peru. It's also got the outer walls and then those little circular structures inside. So I compare this to the Chanquilla structure here on Earth. The one on Mars is obviously very eroded and covered in sand, but you can see there's an inner wall as well, visible at the top.
Yep.
Between the top outer wall and that round piece, there's that long straight line. So it looks as if there was an inner wall as well.
So this is 30 by 30 meters. That's reasonably sized. You wouldn't need to be a giant to make that one.
Yeah, it's like a little outpost.
Yeah. That's a good way to. That's good. It's a good thing to. It's a good.
They
reference.
reckon that Chanquillo was built for defense. That hence the double walls and then the smaller structures inside. But they don't know for sure. I mean, the Chanquillo ruin here on Earth is also very old.
Yeah, and that's what the Anonymous mentioned, that there's sites in Peru that look a lot like stuff on Mars, and then boom, here we go. Here's one right here. My pareidolia is going off the hook here. I'm like seeing a human ear, a fetus, all kinds of stuff. But I do see the resemblance. Jeff up north says that's interesting for sure. Guys, if you guys are new to Gene's work, I'm going to drop a banner down here. This is where you can go ahead and follow him on X and on YouTube and on his website. We'll have that rolling for a little bit. Mike, what do you think about this guy?
There are some geologic formations to the northwest of it that have similar depth or height, like similar contrast you can see on the side, but they're much different in sort of structure or style. They're jagged, they're irregular. Then over here we see a round, smooth shape that completes almost 360 degrees.
Yeah.
3/4 of a round, almost the shape of like a baseball diamond, but could be sort of any irregular polygon type of smooth structure with a city inside. So very interesting.
Yeah. So I just want to read a quote from Carl Sagan.
Please.
This is from his book Cosmos. Intelligent life on Earth first reveals itself through the geometric regularity of its constructions. So we can infer that if there are structures that are geometric and symmetrical,
yes,
on Mars or any other place, that it could represent intelligence. So roughly saying, putting it roughly, look for symmetry and geometry if you are looking for signs of intelligent life.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think in this presentation, the stack that we'll go through, I think you guys will agree that we are looking at geometry and symmetry. And there's direct comparisons with artifacts here on Earth.
Yep. Moving right onwards to Melas Chasma.
Yes. This reminds me of a Greek type of ring. It's got a collapsed roof. It looks like a collapsed roof. The larger image, the background image, was taken at 25 centimeters per pixel. So it makes it 50 meters long. And from the shadow that's being cast and the inclination angle of the sun that NASA provides for this particular photograph, it's 20 meters tall. Then it's got the rectangular sort of openings on the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's got like columns that are evenly spaced.
Yes.
And then the roof looks like tiles. And each of those tiles is about 8 meters in length, 5 to 8 meters in length. So you've got the rectangular openings, are dark spots, and then rectangular columns spaced evenly apart.
Yeah.
And this is from the simulated color photograph, because NASA doesn't publish real color photographs of these anomalies. They combine R, G, and B, or what is it? Infrared, black and white, and another color to produce the simulated color.
Yep.
So, yeah, we don't know what color that really is, but yeah, it's interesting. Nevertheless, the structured look to it.
Yeah. It looks like
And
Location.
nothing else around it. It's like on this flat plane, and this thing's there in the middle.
Yep, the whole rest of this area is fairly smooth. This is one I think would be a good candidate for SAR Doppler tomography satellite scans to see. It seems like there's probably more buried under the edge of this structure, or whether or not it's a geological formation that continues underground or in the background. Yep.
Correct. And it's, if you look at the shape, it's rectangular, roughly rectangular.
Yeah.
So it's not a typical little mound, a mesa maybe, but it's square. It's very intriguing. And there's blocks on it.
Yeah, Shaman says it looks like the roof collapsing over the front of the building and covering up the front with the top of the column showing. And I can see that. Very, very interesting. Brittany, Anamimo's trying to send us a link. I don't see the link he's trying to send. Do you? This is a weird one. Yeah, and there's not. It looks like a nice landing spot too for a rover. Because the thing about rovers is when you land them, it's got to be in a spot where it's not going to get stuck somewhere.
Yeah, it's not going to land on a boulder and roll over. Yeah.
Yeah.
I suspect that's why Elon wants to send these guys to this very boring, bland, flat terrain too, because he doesn't want those rockets to fall over.
Yeah,
because he wants to take people there and be able to bring them back.
Yep.
But there are organizations where there's one-way ticket only. I think a company in the Netherlands, they've even got their own currency.
Interesting.
But
that's a little
I
bit
speak under correction. That was established years ago. I need to research that a bit. But Elon wants to be able to bring people back.
Yeah,
I don't disbelieve that we're planning to go to Mars, but if someone tries to sell me some Mars futures, it's a little premature for that. I'm not buying.
Well, in 2011, I was having some sort of weird life crisis, and I wouldn't call it that, but I was like trying to decide what to do with my life after I got out of the military, and there was an organization, a private organization called Mars One, and
yes.
they were taking applications, and I had a really good resume for something like that at the time, so I sent them my resume. I filmed me, like a video of me, because that's what they wanted, like me stating why I'd be a good fit for the trip and stuff like that. And I would have went and right now I would not go to Mars, but back in 2011, I totally would have. I don't know what happened to that company, so good thing I didn't get too involved with that. But
yeah, that was Union Aerospace Corporation. Thank goodness we got off of that timeline. John Romero and John Carmack taught me what happens after that goes down.
Yeah,
there was also Zubrin. I can't remember his first name. Zubrin, that established that program in Devon Island. They were simulating life on Mars, where they actually have little habitats, and you've got to wear your spacesuit before you can go out. And you've got to sanitize before you come back in to make sure there are no germs in you. They're like simulating life on Mars. Zubrin, I think, is his surname. I can't remember the company's name, though. I think it's Mars One. It might be. I don't know. I speak under correction.
It might be.
Yeah.
Let's move to the next guy.
Okay, now we get to the interesting parts.
Yes.
You know those megalithic ruins that you find down in South America?
Well, yeah, there's Sacsayhuaman in Peru. That's the first one that comes to mind.
I've got these megaliths with protrusions or knobs on them.
Oh, now, they do have nubs.
Yeah, some of them. The ones we'll look at later have got them right in their centers. Now, look at those. I mean, there's two long ones, right? Those are each about 8 meters in length.
Yes.
Then next to each of those, you've got 4. You've got 2 smaller ones next to each of those. And they are approximately 5 meters in length.
These are approximately 5 meters in
Now,
length.
yeah.
That's not that
So
big.
I speculate what we're looking at here is the remains of an ancient structure or wall. Because if you look at the bigger picture, you'll see it's only that little strip, and then around it is like random boulders and rocks, and just this little piece is sticking out. I believe Mars was totally devastated in the distant past. Multiple catastrophes like tsunamis, floods, meteorite impacts. There's even on the Thunderbolts project that reckon electrical plasma discharges destroyed the surface as well and burnt up the atmosphere.
The scar.
And Dr. John Brandenburg has that hypothesis that 2 nuclear explosions in the northern mid-latitudes, one near Sardinia, the other one on the other side of the planet, he detected weapons-grade isotopes. And he hypothesizes that there were 2 huge nuclear explosions on Mars too. So everything's destroyed on Mars. Only here and there's a pocket of intact anomalies, which you'll see as we go along.
Yeah, shout out to John Brandenburg. We'd love to have him on the show sometime.
Oh yeah, I like him too. Yeah.
And the giant scar, Marinaris, something Vallis Marinaris or something like
Correct.
that.
Yes.
That thing is really anomalous. That's a massive. It makes the Grand Canyon, puts it to shame, and it's really a wild thing. And it could only have been caused by like some kind of cosmic catastrophe or a ridiculously large nuclear explosion or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say that I can envision the moons of Mars being caused by some kind of collision, the size of which could have gouged out that crater, probably thrown an orbit out of whack and knocked out enough material to become one of those little rinky-dink Mars moons. The moon of Earth, on the other hand, far too perfect, too spherical, too hollow seeming to be just from some asteroid that knocked a chunk of the Earth off, in my opinion.
I agree with that hypothesis. There's the exploded planet theory, where they hypothesized that Mars was was the moon of a larger planet, where we have the asteroid belt. And that planet was destroyed and it flung Mars out of its orbit and it rotated 90 degrees on its axis. That's why a lot of these anomalies I've noticed too, if you rotate them back 90 degrees, they point north. So there is some credibility to this exploded planet theory as well. But yeah, conjecture. Okay, yeah, you see more megalithic blocks in the same area. Again, we've got a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with little knobs on them or protrusions. Yeah. And there's a row next to them as well.
Wild.
And then that long slab to the left, also with a little nub on it. Then there's that little circular donut shape.
That's a good one.
That there to me looks like an ancient structure as well. Yeah. So blocks are basically the same size.
Shaman mentioned he was cracking a joke, but he was serious at the same time. He said, "I didn't know that Mars had a Bimini Road," and this does kind of look like a Bimini Road off the coast of the Bahamas. And the nub thing is really what's thrown me for a loop. I mean, that seems to be showing up every corner of the Earth, and it's showing up on Mars too. Wild.
All over the place. Megalithic blocks, huge ones.
Yeah,
with those protrusions or nubs in their centers or just off the center.
Mike, can you zoom in on the circular structure one more time, please?
Yep.
That is wild. It does look like a little, I don't know, a circular structure for a defense position of some sort, right? Or I don't know.
Or possibly a little shrine, or where they do sacrifices.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can only speculate, right?
Scarlett is asking, how far is this construction from the pyramids or the Cydonia sector of Mars? I'm not up to speed on my Martian geography.
Okay. Cerberus Palace.
Yeah.
We find the pyramid and that strange Chanquilla structure in Cerberus Palace in Elysium Planitia, and that is in it's either on the equator or in the northern mid-latitudes. As far as I know, Inside Lander and Rover Curiosity are in Elysium Planitia.
Huh.
But I speak under correction, but these are Gaia Planitia, with this and the previous one I found is in the southern mid-latitudes of Mars, in Gaia Planitia. Let me just see.
Oh. Rue said something interesting. He said, do these anomalies follow global energy line as do megalithic sites on Earth? I mean, who knows? I don't know if they have. We know about any particular global energy lines, but there must be on any type of planet. It's a system of energy, and it must have some sort of. What do you think about that, Mike?
We need a magnetical survey of Mars. I think all planets with magnetic fields must have some kind of ley line system going on. Who knows?
Guys, a friend of mine and myself, we collaborated about 5 years ago, and we connected dots on Mars and came up with ley lines, a grid system on Mars that links these huge pyramids and other anomalies I've found. It's called the Kanowski Giza Pyramid Complex Project on my YouTube channel. If you go search for it there, you'll find it. But we attempted to put a grid on Mars and link up all these sites, and it seems there is one. There could be one, yeah.
I'd love to see that maybe at a later date. I'd love to see that those connections, because that's what I was imagining in my head. Because people have the Earth, picture the Earth and all the sites and the connections to them and whatnot, and that'd be a fun little game to play too. You could probably spend 4 hours a night doing that too.
Yes, he actually did that full time. He doesn't have a job, so he's in the UK, so he's on the dole. I think they call it the dole. That's like assistance when the government assists you when you don't have a job. So he does this full time, that grid system. That's what he works on.
Interesting. If you can
I should actually catch up with him a bit and see if he's updated that map.
Please, please. We'd love to have an update on that.
We'll check out that video and send it to our friend Ricardo.
Yeah. Is Ricardo here?
No, he's not here in the chat. Do you know Ricardo Calvario?
I thought Ricardo from my channel is over here.
Oh.
No, we do have a friend named Ricardo Calvario. Might be a different guy. He's very into the telluric energy lines of the Earth and that kind of thing. He wrote a book called The Resonant Earth that talks all about it. Shaman says, hurry up, somebody trademark Mike Day's Multiverse board game, map the megalithic sites on Mars and find Martian Atlantis before we find Earth's.
Yeah.
You thought the Earth Atlantis debate was hot. Wait till you find out about the Mars Atlantis debate.
You know what I find fascinating about that Coffray project? Where they scanned the Giza Plateau and came up with those tubes and those tuning forks in the Coffray Pyramid. That whole thing has to do with resonance.
Yeah.
That whole thing is meant to resonate at a specific frequency. And I think if they put the gold cap back on the top, it's going to start working again.
That's
But
an
with the
interesting
gold cap
hypothesis.
missing, it acts like a capacitor. You need two plates.
Mm-hmm.
The gold cap removed, it can't work the way it should. I speculate it's a huge resonance device.
You'd love talking to our friend Ricardo. Well, I'll connect you guys because yeah, But I think that's obvious stuff. Like when you're in there, you can kind of, as a vibrational being that we are, humans are, you can pick that stuff up yourself, just like being
Sure.
around the Great Pyramid, being inside it, being on it. You can feel that, or most people are energy sensitive, can feel that stuff.
Yeah, many people that have been inside the pyramids in those huge chambers say that they can feel something.
Yeah.
That there's an energy there. Okay,
Correct.
yeah, we're now in Utopia Planitia, where we also find these blocks, but this is in the northern mid-latitudes.
Okay.
So we've got these blocks in the south and up in the north. And they're each about 5 by 5 meters in size. And we've got the little knobs or protrusions, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, yeah.
And each one close to their centers. And we've got the smaller blocks. It looks like a little megalithic structure that was blown apart.
It does. That's exactly
Much
what
like
I was thinking.
Puma
Yes.
Punku's also got those blocks all over the place.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like you could connect them together with doing a little puzzle and, make a structure.
Yeah. Elon Musk, he's Grok AI. I think one of the problems they're trying to solve now is to put pieces together into a geometric shape. I think they're struggling with that still.
Pieces from megalithic sites, you mean?
No, they've got geometric pieces that can only connect together in a certain way.
Okay.
And this experiment, and they still need to iron out little niggly problems with it, but that will work on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the future is bright in exploring Mars with technology that we're currently developing to use here on Earth. This is a weird one because this is definitely it's not like that pyramid is massive,
sticks out.
Yes. This is one you probably really had to dig for, and when you get really close and you look at it, it does look like things like there's places in Egypt that have been knocked over and look kind of like that in the Karnak temple and stuff like that. And it literally looks like a building that was knocked over or like some kind of structure that was knocked over.
Or blown apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the pieces to the left and to the right of it, yes. That's wild, man.
A dry lake bed, it will crack up, and it will make little shapes. The cracks when the lake bed dries out and it starts cracking.
Yes, yeah.
But this is different. These are geometric. There's more than one of them, and they're next to one another, and then they have those smaller parts in their centers. So,
those are weird. They've got nubs. I think Brian showed me this one at Cosmic Summit as well.
It looks almost like a handle on the top block.
Yeah, I was trying to decide what that looked like to me. What do you guys think in the chat? Looks like wire.
It looks like
like those megaliths that we find in South America, with those little sort of carvings on them.
And it seems like there are a lot of other blocks nearby that have similar features.
Yes, I singled these out because they were still close together.
Yep. So those are the three that are zoomed in. I'm looking at the ones over here.
Yes, there's a lot.
Little ones over here. This is either a large natural formation or some kind of debris field where it's just like all broken up.
Thank you, Shaman. And yeah, Jean's channel is great. And so again, I'm going to flash that at the bottom. He's producing weekly videos, some or more. And so please go ahead and subscribe to his YouTube channel and follow him on X.
Yes.
You won't regret it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, we've got megalithic blocks that we find in Peru.
Thanks for including this. For us ancient history geeks, we know all about nubs, stone nubs from different places. These are the little details that is fun to follow, like stone nubs on megalithic work or handbags and carvings of human figures. These are the details that intrigue us.
Yeah, and you find these polygonal walls on basically every continent and every ancient civilization, including nubs. And now we're finding them on Mars. What's up? That's crazy.
Yep.
100%.
It's just fun to say Olante Tambo.
It is fun. It is. I don't even try that one.
Tambo.
That's a tough one for me. Yeah, we had a guy who we talking to recently about this. We interviewed somebody recently about Aaron from Megalithic Mystery, and he's very familiar with Peru, and he's very familiar with ancient sites all over the world. And he says this site here at Sacsayhuaman is the most mind-blowing site from an engineering and logistics perspective on Earth, and it's up there. It's in my top 3. And now we've got a comparable site here on Mars. Tell us about that.
Okay, this is in Euripus Mons. And it is in the southern mid-latitudes. That block that you see there, the larger one, is 12 meters across. Then you've got that little 5 by 5 meter block that fits into it, but it's moved slightly out, and it's got a little knob on it, whatever you call it. And there's 3 of them on that larger piece. And they're basically the same size, and they're placed in a shape of a triangle. And that's another thing that I'm not showing you guys in this live stream. We can do another live stream where I show you where triangles are depicted all over megaliths on Mars. And I don't know why they've chosen triangles. It could have some significance in astrobiology, some star system that they're depicting, like they do Orion's belt with the 3 pyramids in Giza. Yeah, but that will be another live stream.
Yeah, I love that. You're definitely coming back because this is very fascinating to me. I just wanted to shout out Ricardo from History, Myths, and Legends and the Institute for Natural Philosophy. How's it going, man? We've got lots of our friends in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and drop our new Support Our Friends ticker down at the bottom here. So if I'm forgetting anyone, I'm sorry. We're just building this now. We're going to switch people in and out. But these are some of our good friends of the channel and supporters of the channel that have been supporting us for a long time. And they're also content creators and, just people interested in this kind of stuff. So go ahead and follow the people at the bottom that are scrolling along here. I can't see the size of this, Jean.
12.
What is the
12 meters across.
Okay.
Yeah, 12 meters long by about 10 meters.
Oh, there it is. Got it.
Now, if you look at that shape, if you put that little block back in there and you look at that shape, you'll see that shape is repeated down on that wall that we find in Peru. You see that shape? It's got that like cutout.
Yeah.
You see that on blocks over here too. That one. Just above that guy's head.
Yeah.
See? So people reckon these blocks may have been melted and shaped and then placed tightly together using some type of vibrational frequency to make them malleable. And I think that's what we see there as well with that shape on Mars.
One thing I noticed, we see Sacsayhuaman here on Earth is remnants of something that had been built in the past and destroyed in some kind of cataclysm. Add 2 or 3 more cataclysms on top of that. When the ruins get ruined and further ruined with periodic shifting events, eventually you're left with a field of rubble like this one in particular. This is Sacsayhuaman with 2 or 3 more younger Dryas finishing tearing the wall down, and then you're left with just the remnants of it.
Yeah, many researchers hypothesize that when the cataclysm happened here on Earth about 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, it also happened on Mars.
Yeah,
I don't know. Look, that's just a theory, but yeah, interesting.
I mean, it's possible. And Ricardo was mentioning something about that to me the other day that I didn't get a chance to quite look into yet, but that around that time there was a lot of solar system interaction with comets and the sun, and it's who's to say it didn't affect other planets in the solar system at that time as well.
Yeah.
You know what I think is interesting about this one too is if you had like a giant brush or a vacuum, or like you went like that really hard or something like that, maybe you'd uncover like more pieces to the puzzle, and it would look like a Sacsayhuaman, you know, like there'd be more pieces like that or surrounding it. That's what I think.
We need to dig there for sure.
This is a cool
Moving
one.
onward. Yes,
Okay.
This is the one we were talking about before the show. Let me move our heads over to the other side.
Okay, the rover Curiosity photographed this one.
Yep.
Where is it now? Let's just see. Sorry, guys. UAP UFO. Okay, it's in Gale Crater near Mount Sharp. The rover is located there. And this photograph was taken on the 5th of June, 2025. Now, Joe from Art Alien TV, I don't know if you guys know him. He's got a huge YouTube channel as well. Myself and Joe presented this anomaly on the same day. We sort of found it together. So, yeah, credit goes to him if he found it first. But, yeah, we found this thing and presented it together. So you can see, it's got like a little delta shape. And then these long sort of antenna pieces protruding out. Now, if you look at the photograph and the one just after this, in that sequence, this is the first of 3 photographs that were taken in a sequence.
Okay.
They were spaced about 13 seconds apart. So you see this in the first photograph.
Yep.
13 seconds later, the same area is photographed, but you don't see anything.
Okay.
So this thing, I don't know for how long it was there before it was photographed the first time, but the second time it was photographed, it was gone. So is that a contrail left by like a jet? Or is it a beam of light or plasma that's being projected down onto the surface, and we just saw like a flash of it, and the next moment when the photograph was taken again, it wasn't there, it moved on? Or is that a huge object in orbit around Mars? And I'm talking about kilometers in length, like a huge satellite with this antenna system on it. So we don't know.
This one's wild. I can't believe I've never seen this before.
So is it maybe a rocket that's being shot up away from the surface, or what? We don't know. But ever since this photograph was published on the NASA site, they have been infatuated with photographs of the horizon. And then they're trying to they photograph like an angle of the sun. They're trying to get lens flares on the lens. I think they're trying to simulate this type of anomaly with a lens flare so that they can claim this was a lens flare. That's what I think they're doing, because if you look at the number of just sky photographs they're taking, it's off the hook, totally off the hook.
Yeah.
And I speculate they might be trying to do that, or they're trying to find another one of these.
Is that something? I guess this would be a good time to ask. How long have you, or remind us, how long have you been at your practice of spending several hours a day of trawling through these images, and what changes have you noticed in the type of images over the last few years? You said there's a lot more horizon and sky photos now.
Okay, huge changes I've noticed is in the MRO, Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter high-rise photographs. There's a black strip in all the photographs for the past 2 years. They claim it's one of the sensors that's broken, and that part of the photograph, there's no data for it. So they're trying to replace it with another sensor so that they can fill in that information in the photograph. So that's one big change. So a third of the photographs for the past 2 years, there's got the third of those photographs is missing. But they say it's due to a sensor problem on the camera. Then the other big changes I've noticed is they're adding more red to the Perseverance photographs. But severe, they put on a severe red filter. But every once in a while they leak one with a blue sky. So I don't know why they do that. I'm not sure. But the quality of the photographs of both rovers are still outstanding. It's like something clears the dust off the camera lenses. I think they've got filters that they pull off. I don't know how they clean those cameras, or a little puff of compressed air. But the quality of the photographs, to me, still looks outstanding.
Very interesting.
And then
would take a clever
sites that they like to photograph. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter used to photograph what they called dune changes a lot. They'd like take 10 or more photographs of a specific site that has dunes in it to monitor the movement of these dunes. But they're doing that less and less and less, and they're concentrating more on the poles, the polar ice caps. And they're looking at what they call CO2 venting at these sites. So their focus is changing from dune monitoring more to CO2, like gassing, and to the poles. That I could be wrong, but that's the trend that I've noticed too. And they no longer publish 25 centimeter per pixel high resolution photographs anymore. It's mostly 100 centimeters per pixel. So yeah, that's one other big change I've noticed.
Thanks for the insight.
Scarlett's asking, is Mars red or just a shade? This is something that's been coming up recently, where obviously they read up some of the pictures that's been proven, and so and then I've seen like some pictures where it literally does not look red at all. What's the word on that according to you, Jean?
Okay, the planet does have a tint of red to it because there's a lot of rust and iron. I want to show you a photograph. Yeah, I found it.
Please.
Let me quickly share this. Share. Okay, this is over on my blog. True colors of Mars revealed in recent live NASA public talk. So it was by this guy, Ashwin Vasavada, he went through this stack of photographs. And look at that, guys. Look at that blue sky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brown and gray.
No red water.
Brown and gray. Looks like could be on Earth. Yeah.
See what I mean?
It's beautiful.
It is. And these are the true colors of Mars. But why won't they release these photographs to the public? Why do they hold on to this? Is it because knowledge is power? Look at that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It is. This kind of stuff blows me away. That looks like could be on Earth.
Exactly.
Wow. Amazing. I mean, there's places on Earth that look like this.
I know. Many claim that the rovers are actually at a site in Devon Island, I believe the theory is.
I've heard that.
Yes. So if they are there, as I say, if they are faking this, right? Say, for example, they're faking this. Then they've got to explain that to us too one day. But if they're not, then they also have to explain what they're finding there.
Yep.
So either way, NASA's got some explaining to do.
That's why telling lies only gets you into trouble later on. You got to tell a bigger lie to cover up the previous lie. Why lie in the first place?
Yeah.
That is the argument or the disagreement that me and I don't want to bring flat earthers into this because they believe that the rovers are in Devon Island.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all have our beliefs. We welcome to our belief systems and everything. I don't judge anyone, but I believe the rovers are actually on Mars.
Before we get into this picture, I wanted to answer a question that came up. This was the picture I was most looking forward to talking about, but we were talking about cleaning the lenses off of the rovers. I grokked that, so I stole screen share. They're using natural engineering design-based strategies. So they're counting on wind events. They got lens coatings. The cameras have protective coatings to reduce dust adhesion. Redundant cameras. Rovers are equipped with multiple cameras. So, and also positioning and design on the rover itself. So I just thought that was interesting. I wanted to grok it to find out. Mike, you can steal that back if you want.
So, wind events. Can you imagine if the atmosphere of Mars is as thin as they claim? Then these have got to be very, very powerful winds to remove dust. Or if the atmosphere is very thick, we don't need strong winds, just gusts. Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know.
That's anyway, what Grok says.
The boat-shaped anomaly, that's what I call it. It's 20 meters in length. There you can see it in the center of the background image. That is at actual size 1:1 scale from the JP2 photograph. Now, if you look at my deep dive on my YouTube channel, where I show how I upscale this, next to it, I'll put a conventionally magnified version of it as well. All the detail you see over here on the enlarged version of this are there too, if you use a magnifier on that small object. That little grid part at the back, the detail on it, the upscaler used a little bit of interpretation on that thing. And that little ramp at the back, there it might have also interpreted the data a bit differently compared to the source, but the shape of this thing, the round part in front, the hole with a little sphere inside it, all that is actually in the data. So are we looking at a conning tower of a buried submarine? Is it possibly a structure or an outpost? Or could it be a boat? Remember, this is in a region of Mars they call Noachis Terra, and that means land of Noah.
Mhm.
What?
Yes,
Coincidence?
and
I think not.
I found 3 overturned. They look like overturned keels of ships in this region of Mars, and there's also a huge outline of an oil tanker that's 3 kilometers long. So why they call this Noachis Terra land of Noah is very interesting.
Mhm.
I'm with Scarlett. This looks mechanical to me as well, or something. It looks like technology to me.
It does.
Habitat for Rockhound says that might be a Mars soapbox derby cart. It kind of looks like the soapbox derby cart I made for scouts and when I was like 10. But that does not look natural at all.
No. A lot of people compare it to a remote control, but
Yeah.
this thing is huge. It's 20 meters in length.
20 meters,
So,
okay.
yeah, if the rover had taken this photograph, then that could have been a small remote control. But yeah, this was taken from orbit at about 300 kilometers above the surface. So that thing is huge.
So on your channel, you said you do a deep dive on how you upscaled this?
Yes, there's a whole series of deep dives in which I show this and the spider web we'll be looking at, how I've upscaled it compared to the original unenhanced version of an upscale. This one, for example, I do a deep dive on this too, where I put the conventionally magnified version of that thing next to this one, and you'll see those little ribs are even visible on the blurry, conventionally magnified image.
What?
So as I say, gigapixel preserves the edges of structures and objects and just upscales it so that it looks a lot crisper and sharper and not as blurry as conventional magnifiers would do. So yeah, we've got a cavern that's about 20 to 30 meters across, and it's covered by this weird webbing type of material or bracing. It looks like an HR Giga, something out of an Alien movie.
Right.
Yes.
Sinuous type of material.
Brittany dropped a link to the deep dive in the chat, guys, just FYI. Would you call these caves or outcrops, or what in the heck are we looking at here?
It's a cavern. If you look at the surrounding terrain, there's these little circular depressions.
Yeah.
Those are impact craters.
One below, 2 or 3 above.
So this is definitely deeper than these little craters. So it could even be an entrance to a cave.
Yep.
This one weirds me out.
Yeah, it's got a very strangely organic look.
Yes.
It's different,
right.
but it doesn't have any like polygon type shapes to it.
And then those parts that look like bracing.
Yes.
Spaced evenly apart, perpendicular to that larger part.
Correct.
It's astounding.
Weirdly organic, and then also those bracing pieces that are next to each other. There's also like above that and to the left, there's a massive hole. Someone needs to put a guardrail around that spider mine shaft. Yeah,
it's like a canopy.
Yeah,
if it's a spider shaft, they need to cover it up with a dome and then collapse the dome. Spiders.
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh man.
Okay, this was back with the rover Curiosity. This photograph was taken Sol 3466. So that is 2022-05-07. So that's a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
So that photograph on the left was taken by the rover on Mars. And this thing's located on a mound. Then the one on the right is the entrance to the tomb of Uki in Egypt, also cut into the side of a mound. Note the ramp, like
Yes.
parts leading up into that, and then the little columns, the bracing columns, and then the plastered like finish on the inside. The only difference is this one on Mars is about 400 to 500. It's a half a meter about 40 centimeters to 50 centimeters tall. And the one on the right, obviously, you can walk in there, so it's a lot bigger. But note the symmetry and geometry and the way it's been cut into the side of this mound with the columns, the bracing column. I'd love to have seen it taken more from the front. This is a side view of that entrance.
Yeah, yeah. In this picture, like most of them are just kind of taken randomly, right? They're not, you know what I mean? They're just taking random pictures throughout the day, or how does that work?
Okay, this is in a series of photographs
Yeah.
that they took of this mound to make a panoramic view of it.
Okay.
And this is towards 2/3 of the way up. We spot this little entranceway. So it's part of a series of photographs.
Okay.
So they didn't specifically focus just on this and then drive off again. Yeah.
Anyone see the fossilized tree down there that Nemo is talking about?
It does look like,
could be.
what do they call it? Vitrified wood, petrified.
It does. It does have that appearance.
The whole thing might be a part of something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like petrified. Yeah, weird.
Have you all heard of the mud fossil theorists that say that a lot of geologic formations are fossilized remains of enormous, gigantic creatures that once, roamed the earth that were somehow made of mud? I don't know. It could happen on Mars too. My point was just that if people theorize about it on Earth, then they can theorize about it on other planets.
That's funny. I need to look into that. Please send me a link to that. It's so smooth on the inside there, too. It's almost like it looks like quarries here on Earth, megalithic quarries here on Earth. Even though that's a smaller entranceway, but it's very smooth,
like plaster or cement.
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
And note the way it's been cracked as well. It doesn't look at all like the texture and the cracks on the mound itself. It's as if that's been applied afterwards.
Weird.
It is.
That's a weird one.
Moving right onward, we've got Zephyria. Yeah, Zephyria. This is up in the, I'll tell you now, Elysium Planitia.
Wow.
Back in Elysium Planitia.
This is wild.
That, it's very rectangular. It looks like the outlines of walls or a foundation. Yeah. And it's in the shape of an X. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah, like a
and
a
it's
cross.
Cleaned out. The interior of it is smooth and cleaned out.
Mm-hmm.
It even looks as if it's slightly deeper than the surrounding terrain.
It does, based on the shadows and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's about 50 meters to 60 meters across.
The ripples in the sand are different inside there than they are on the surrounding terrain as well.
Mm. So this to me looks like the remains of a structure in a shape of basically an X.
Mm-hmm.
So if Elon wants to go somewhere, he should go, because X marks the spot.
Yeah, and it looks like it's a good landing spot too.
Yes, it is. Very smooth, yeah. That's where Inside Lander is.
Okay.
Attached to this thing, yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know what you guys think. I mean, when a comet or some meteorite hits the surface, it makes a round hole.
Yes.
This is not round, I must say. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's anomalous. That's what I think. Doesn't look like,
Mhm.
it's anomalous in that it's like looks like a shape of something that we would build here on Earth, and it's
Yeah.
on Mars, and it doesn't look like anything else around it.
No.
Which I think we should be thinking about when we look at this stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, the surrounding terrain is much like you see it there. Very smooth with the odd shallow depression.
Yeah, Emma Nemo says all Martian rock keep themselves out of that area for some reason, and I hate to say it, but like for some reason the inside looks way different than the outside. It's like I don't know, there's some kind of energetic force that's keeping it that makes it look different than the outside of the structure, for lack of a better word.
And
Right?
And the small dunes, could that have been filled with water at one point? And then as the water dried out, it made these like ripple dunes. Who knows?
Yeah, that's weird. Also, the stones around the perimeter may be past excavation of this Olympic pool, because you can't help but have pareidolia when you look at this stuff sometimes, right? Because our brains want to like make sense of the patterns we're seeing, right? It does look like an Olympic pool.
And that's where we need the 2032 Olympics.
Yeah, 2032 Olympics, right there.
And then it's got the two smaller rectangular parts on either side.
Yeah, those are the bleachers, right? For the Martian
Yes,
bleachers.
correct.
Wild. That's a weird one.
It's another good one. Yep. Moving on to 14, Planum Chronium.
Yeah, Planum Chronium. This is Terra Chimeria is the area. Terra Chimeria. Anyway, 12 meters in length. I don't know what to make of it. We've got a larger rectangular part to the left. It's got this narrow part sticking out to the right, and it seems to come up to a narrower part. It's not parallel. That sort of comes to a point. And then that part in the center sticking out of what looks like an opening. Could that there actually be a sculpture of a face or a head, an elongated head with a nose and the mouth? Like a moai, or what do they call those things?
Yes, it almost looks like the nose of a moai statue with the also with the eyes, sort of heavy brows over the eyes. Yeah.
Is it a type of a technology machine or a carving of something? But it's 12 meters long. And look at the symmetry and geometry in that thing. I don't know what to make of this thing either.
I don't either. Jim's cracking me up with it's an alien in its sleeping bag. But that's like, I can totally see that. This thing's wild. I'm trying to look at other things around it to see if like maybe they could have once been a part of what this is, like like we'd seen earlier, possibly like an exploded or destroyed temple or destroyed statue. This is a weird looking artifact, ancient artifact, for lack of a better word. 12 meters.
Yes. So it's huge.
Yeah.
And if you want to see the larger picture, the surrounding terrain, I've got that picture in my YouTube video. If you'd like to see that,
I actually would
see all the rocks and boulders around it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this thing sticks out like a sore finger.
That's
That's what
weird.
grabs my attention, the symmetry and geometry. You get so used to looking at rocks and boulders. As soon as you see something with a pattern to it, you got it. Yeah, your eye gets used to looking for these things. So you'll see it's totally out of place as well.
Yeah, I'd say.
And I think that's the last one. Eh?
Yes, that is the last slide of the deck that you sent us.
Shaman says, great work. I'm really glad to have been introduced to it. I subscribe to your YouTube channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing all of this work for the rest of us. It made some new fans. Yeah, made some new fans from our fans and our supporters. So that's our favorite thing to do, is introduce the people that follow us to, interesting new content creators.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you, guys. I'm sure many of my subs will also come over and sub to your work as well.
We already got a little crossover of that. So we'd love to in a few months. When you've got some new fun ones you want to show us, you're welcome to come on the live stream and show us anytime. Man, that was really fun. And we went 2 hours too.
Thank you for coming on the show, Jean. Thanks for everybody who participated in the chat, to all our new friends. And any last comments before I close it out with the music video that I promised earlier?
Yeah, look, it's 1 a.m. Yeah, I'm used to going to bed at 2 a.m. because of my research. So
nice.
We're not infringing on my bedtime, so don't worry, guys. I enjoyed this thoroughly. Thank you so much. One thing I do want to say in my closing thoughts, if we go to Mars and we find all these artifacts and we find out, but listen, there was an ancient civilization here. I want the guys that go there to treat Mars with respect, not to go in there and plunder the place for artifacts and technology. But look at the catastrophe that happened on Mars and the potential suffering that those poor people went through. So all I'm asking is that if it turns out that there was a civilization there that we treated with respect that it deserves, that we don't just go there to plunder the place. And NASA, please come forth with the truth. We're all ready for it. None of us are going to run out and start rioting. I think humanity is at a point where I can reasonably safely say that if we receive news like this, we're not going to blow our minds. I mean, I think we're ready. What do you guys?
We are ready. Let's bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on. I mean, they've been spoon feeding us through all these movies and things that they've been showing us. Now it's time for the truth. I think so.
I 100% agree. I'm ready for it. Mike's ready for it. Our multiverse community is ready for it. And that's a beautiful message that you shared about not plundering the place, because unfortunately, that's what people are looking at, asteroids and places like Mars, and they're going, what kind of minerals can I find there to extract and then make money off of and stuff like that. And, that would be heartbreaking. So I really appreciate that message. Thank you so much for coming on the show all the way from South Africa, man. We really appreciate it.